I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help.
Michael Jackson, the king of pop, captivated the world with his groundbreaking music, unforgettable performances, and larger-than-life persona. But behind the fame and fortune, what was his life really like? In this video, we take you inside the world of Michael Jackson's legacy, exploring his abandoned Neverland Ranch, his relationships with his wife and children, and the tragic events that led to his untimely death. We'll also delve into the immense fortune he left behind and the impact of his career on the entertainment world. This isn't just a story about stardom. It's about how a man's extraordinary talent, love, and struggles continue to shape his legacy today. Childhood and early ambitions. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, the eighth of 10 children in the Jackson family. His early life unfolded in a modest two-bedroom home, far from the bright lights of stardom. Yet from the start, Michael was destined for greatness. His childhood was shaped by a stark contrast: the relentless ambition of his father, Joe Jackson, and the simple, working-class life they led. Joe Jackson, a strict and determined man, saw the musical potential in his children, especially Michael. While other children played, Michael was pushed to rehearse, practice, and perform. Joe's vision was clear. His children were meant for something extraordinary. This relentless pursuit of perfection would lay the groundwork for Michael's career, but also contribute to the personal struggles he faced throughout his life. From a young age, Michael had no choice but to comply with his father's demanding expectations. By the time he was 6, Michael's remarkable talent began to surface. His voice, powerful and distinct, stood out even among his siblings. In 1964, he became the lead vocalist of the Jackson 5, a band formed with his older brothers. The group's early performances showcased Michael's natural stage presence, with his voice and electrifying dance moves drawing crowds. It wasn't just his singing, it was the way he moved, effortlessly captivating everyone who watched him. While Joe Jackson's ambitions drove him, Michael also harbored a deep desire to escape the confines of Gary, Indiana. He dreamed of something greater than the small town he grew up in, of reaching beyond his family's expectations to prove his worth on a global scale. Michael longed for a world where his talent would be recognized not just by his father, but by the world. As the Jackson 5's infectious sound caught the attention of the music industry, Michael's raw talent made him the group's centerpiece. His voice, presence, and passion elevated the group, making him the face of the Jackson 5. However, Michael's personal journey was far from over. Behind the success of the group, a quiet ambition burned within him, a desire to carve out a place for himself and rise above the limitations of his upbringing. Though the Jackson 5's success catapulted Michael to fame, his childhood was not just a period of joy. It was one of intense pressure and self-discovery. The road to becoming the king of pop was shaped in these formative years, and the weight of those early ambitions would become a double-edged sword. As he navigated his career, Michael began to question whether he could ever find peace within himself, or if the relentless drive instilled by his father would continue to haunt him. In these early years, Michael Jackson's ambition was already crystal clear: to transcend his circumstances and become an icon. But it was a journey fraught with both extraordinary achievements and painful personal costs, one that would lay the foundation for the complex man he would become. Initial career breakthrough. By the time Michael Jackson was just 9 years old, he had already become a star as the lead singer of the Jackson 5. Signed to Motown Records in 1968, the group quickly skyrocketed to fame with their catchy melodies, upbeat sound, and Michael's commanding presence. Despite being the youngest member, Michael stood out, his voice transcending his small frame and captivating audiences nationwide. But it wasn't just his voice. It was the way he could control the stage, commanding the audience with every movement. As the Jackson 5's success grew, it became clear that Michael was the group's standout talent. His emotional depth and vocal precision, especially at such a young age, set him apart from his siblings. But fame came at a cost. Michael struggled under the weight of his father Joe's strict expectations, constantly pushed to perform and live up to the Jackson family name. The pressure was immense, but Michael's star power kept rising, and he became a fixture in the music world. While the Jackson 5 thrived, Michael's desire for creative freedom began to take shape. He started to yearn for something more than being part of the group, dreaming of a solo career where he could explore his own vision. However, breaking away from the group was no easy decision. It meant stepping into the unknown, leaving behind the security of his brothers and the familiar success of the Jackson 5. In 1971, Michael began his solo career with the release of Got to Be There, his debut album. The album featured the title track, a modest hit that showcased Michael's smooth vocals. While his solo career was still in its early stages, it was evident that Michael's voice had the power to stand on its own. Yet, he wasn't content to simply be another young artist. He envisioned music that would break boundaries and performances that would leave a lasting mark on the world. It was in 1979, with the release of Off the Wall, that Michael Jackson truly solidified his place as a solo artist. The album, which included iconic hits like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You, marked a pivotal moment in his career. Off the Wall wasn't just commercially successful, it represented Michael's shift toward his own artistic vision. Blending disco, funk, and pop, Michael set trends rather than followed them. For the first time, he was embracing a sound that was uniquely his, and it marked the moment he emerged from the shadow of his childhood fame to realize his potential as an artist. Even with the success of his solo career, Michael still felt the pull of his past. The Jackson 5 had made him a household name, but now it was time for him to define who he was beyond the family group. The world was watching, eager to see if this ambitious artist could build something truly groundbreaking on his own. And as Michael prepared to step into new territory, the next stage of his journey would forever change not just his life, but the entire music industry. The world was about to witness the rise of a new icon, one whose influence would reverberate through the ages and alter the cultural landscape forever. Rise to fame. Michael Jackson's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. After years of honing his craft with the Jackson 5, his transition to a solo artist marked the beginning of a new chapter in a career that would redefine the music industry. But it was Thriller 1982 that would elevate Michael to unprecedented heights, cementing his place not just as a superstar, but as a global icon. When Thriller was released, no one could have predicted the scale of its success. The album was a perfect storm of innovation, timing, and talent. It blended pop, rock, R&B, and funk in a way that was fresh and groundbreaking. Michael's voice, always captivating, now had a more mature quality, delivering emotion and power in equal measure. Thriller produced a string of hits, including Billie Jean, Beat It, and the title track Thriller, each one showcasing a different facet of Michael's genius. What made Thriller truly revolutionary was its ability to bridge genres and audiences. The album didn't just cater to one demographic. It reached across cultural, racial, and generational lines. Michael became a household name, not just in the US, but worldwide. The music videos that accompanied the singles became a cultural phenomenon, particularly the groundbreaking video for Thriller. Directed by John Landis, it was a mini-movie that set a new standard for what a music video could be. The elaborate dance routines, coupled with Michael's impeccable moves, helped solidify his place as a master of performance and artistry. But Michael's rise to fame wasn't just about music, it was about redefining the very concept of celebrity. He was no longer just a singer or performer, he was a global force, a symbol of talent, charisma, and innovation. His influence reached beyond music, impacting fashion, dance, and even the way the public viewed celebrity. Michael's iconic moonwalk, which he debuted during a performance of Billie Jean on the TV special Motown 25, Yesterday, Today, Forever in 1983, became a cultural touchstone, making him the most recognizable performer on the planet. Yet, as his fame soared, so did the pressure. Michael's life became a spectacle, his every move watched by millions. He was the king of pop, but the price of that crown was immense. The pressures of fame began to take their toll on Michael's personal life. Behind the camera, he was grappling with a constant media frenzy, public scrutiny, and a sense of isolation that would only deepen as his career continued. Even as the world fell in love with Michael Jackson, he found himself struggling with his own identity. His fame was so overwhelming that it seemed to overshadow his personal life, his quest for peace, and even his own sense of self. Despite all his success, Michael was often faced with feelings of loneliness and insecurity. He had become the most famous person in the world, yet he longed for something more, a deeper sense of belonging and peace that he could never quite find. Still, his musical legacy was undeniable. Thriller became the best-selling album of all time, and Michael Jackson's rise to fame was complete. He was no longer just a star, he was a legend. And as the world watched his every move, Michael Jackson would continue to shape the landscape of music, culture, and celebrity for decades to come. Career highlights and achievements. Michael Jackson's career is marked by a series of extraordinary achievements that not only defined his legacy, but also reshaped the music industry. From record-breaking albums to groundbreaking performances, Michael's contributions were monumental, leaving an indelible mark on music, dance, and culture. Perhaps the most iconic achievement in Michael's career was the release of Thriller, 1982, which remains the best-selling album of all time. Its success was not just a matter of sales, it revolutionized the music industry. With tracks like Billie Jean, Beat It, and Wanna Be Startin' Something, Thriller showcased Michael's ability to blend genres, incorporating pop, rock, funk, and R&B into a seamless sound that appealed to a global audience. The album earned him a record-breaking 8 Grammy Awards in a single night in 1984, including the coveted Album of the Year. Michael's influence extended beyond his music. His iconic music videos changed the way the industry viewed the art form. The video for Thriller is still regarded as one of the greatest music videos ever made, setting a new standard for creativity and storytelling. Directed by John Landis, it was a short film that combined music, dance, and narrative in a way that had never been seen before. The intricate choreography, the iconic werewolf transformation, and the famous zombie dance sequence became global phenomena, turning the music video into an essential part of the musical experience. Michael Jackson had turned the music video into an art form, forever altering the way artists used visuals to complement their music. In addition to his musical achievements, Michael's influence as a performer was unparalleled. His 1983 performance of Billie Jean on the Motown 25, Yesterday, Today, Forever Special, is legendary. It was during this performance that Michael unveiled the moonwalk for the first time, a dance move that would become synonymous with his name. The moment captivated audiences around the world, and the moonwalk became a defining symbol of Michael's style and innovation. As a live performer, Michael Jackson was unmatched. His concerts were nothing short of spectacles, combining music, elaborate choreography, and state-of-the-art technology. His Bad World Tour, 1987 to 1988, and History World Tour, 1996 to 1997, were among the most successful tours in history, performing to millions of fans across the globe. His ability to command the stage with both charisma and precision set him apart from any other performer in history. His tours became cultural events, where fans gathered to witness not just a concert, but a celebration of his artistry. Michael's philanthropic efforts were also significant. He was deeply committed to causes that aimed to improve the lives of children and disadvantaged communities. His Heal the World Foundation, launched in 1992, focused on promoting peace, children's rights, and addressing global health crises. He also contributed to numerous charities, raising millions of dollars for causes ranging from HIV/AIDS awareness to disaster relief. Michael's influence reached far beyond music. His impact on dance, fashion, and the media was profound. He broke down racial barriers, becoming a beloved figure across the globe. Michael Jackson wasn't just a pop star. He was a cultural icon, and his legacy continues to influence artists and entertainers around the world today. Relationships and marriage. Michael Jackson's personal life was as complex and scrutinized as his public persona. Behind the flashing lights and worldwide acclaim, his relationships, particularly his marriages, were subjects of intense media attention, often overshadowing his personal desires and struggles. Michael's love life, marked by 2 high-profile marriages, played a pivotal role in shaping his identity as a man and a father, while also revealing the emotional toll that fame had on his ability to form meaningful, lasting relationships. In 1994, Michael Jackson's first marriage to Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of Elvis Presley, sent shockwaves through the media. The union between the King of Pop and the daughter of the King of Rock and Roll seemed like a match made in celebrity heaven. The two were married in a secret ceremony in the Dominican Republic, and the world was captivated by their high-profile pairing. Despite the intense public fascination, the marriage was fraught with tension and misunderstanding. Both Michael and Lisa Marie struggled under the weight of their fame, and their union quickly became a symbol of the pressures of living under constant media scrutiny. While Lisa Marie Presley later described the marriage as a deeply emotional and intense experience, it ultimately ended in divorce in 1996. The split, which shocked many, was attributed to a variety of factors, including differences in their personalities and the overwhelming pressures of being constantly in the spotlight. Michael's desire for a sense of normalcy, mixed with his emotional vulnerability, made it difficult for him to maintain a relationship that was, from the start, under intense public scrutiny. After his marriage to Lisa Marie Presley, Michael's relationships continued to be a topic of fascination, particularly his connection with Debbie Rowe, a nurse who worked for his dermatologist. In 1996, Michael married Debbie Rowe in a quiet ceremony, and their relationship was characterized by a sense of practicality and mutual respect, though it too was clouded by public attention. Unlike his first marriage, which was a highly publicized love story, his relationship with Debbie was more private and rooted in shared concerns, particularly Michael's desire to become a father. Debbie Rowe gave birth to two of Michael's children, Prince Michael and Paris Jackson. Despite their divorce in 1999, Michael remained involved in their lives, and his relationship with his children was central to his identity as a father. Michael's love for his children was profound, and he often spoke of his deep desire to protect them from the pressures he himself faced. He went to great lengths to shield his children from the public eye, keeping them out of the media as much as possible. Though Michael's relationships with Lisa Marie Presley and Debbie Rowe were short-lived, they were important chapters in his life. Through these marriages, he sought connection, love, and understanding, but the burden of fame made it nearly impossible for him to maintain lasting, private relationships. His marriages were also marked by a deep sense of loneliness, and he often struggled with the isolation that came with being the most famous man in the world. Despite the challenges he faced in his personal relationships, Michael's love for his children remained one of the most important aspects of his life. He was a deeply devoted father who, despite his own struggles, worked tirelessly to give his children a sense of normalcy and love in an otherwise chaotic world. His relationships, though tumultuous, shaped him in ways that no career achievement ever could: family life and parenting. Despite the intense scrutiny of his personal life, Michael Jackson's devotion to his children remained one of his most profound and consistent aspects. As a father, he was deeply protective, and his desire to shield his children from the pressures of fame was unwavering. Michael's role as a parent became central to his identity, offering him a rare sense of stability and purpose amidst the chaos that defined much of his life. Michael had 3 children: Prince Michael, Paris, and Blanket. His first 2 children, Prince Michael and Paris, were born during his marriage to Debbie Rowe, while Blanket was born in 2002, the result of a surrogate mother. Michael's children were the light of his life, and he often described them as the greatest joy he had ever known. His love for them was palpable, and it was clear that his focus shifted to being a father in his later years. Despite his superstar status, Michael's role as a parent allowed him to experience a sense of normalcy that he had long been denied. As a father, Michael worked hard to create a sense of privacy and security for his children. He took them on private outings, kept them out of the spotlight as much as possible, and tried to give them a childhood free from the public's prying eyes. His famously unconventional way of raising his children, including wearing masks to protect their identities in public, was often criticized, but was, in Michael's eyes, a means to provide a sense of normality in an otherwise extraordinary world. Michael's children were rarely seen without him, and when they were always surrounded by tight security to protect them from the media's intrusive gaze. Michael also instilled in his children the importance of kindness, love, and empathy. He often spoke about the lessons he hoped to pass on to them, emphasizing compassion for others and the importance of making the world a better place. His children were a source of immense joy and pride, and he often expressed how much he wanted to provide them with a life filled with love and happiness, in stark contrast to his own turbulent childhood. However, Michael's attempts at shielding his children from the world didn't always succeed. The media, always hungry for a glimpse into his private life, frequently criticized his parenting choices, from the way he kept his children out of the spotlight to his sometimes eccentric behavior. Yet, Michael remained steadfast in his commitment to them. As a father, he was constantly navigating the challenges of raising children under a microscope, always balancing his desire for normalcy with the overwhelming weight of fame. Even in the face of the constant pressure and his own personal struggles, Michael's love for his children remained a constant in his life. His legacy, in many ways, would be defined by his role as a father, the man who wanted nothing more than to give his children the love and protection that he himself had longed for. tragic death and impact. On June 25, 2009, the world was stunned by the sudden death of Michael Jackson, the king of pop, at just 50 years old. He passed away from acute propofol intoxication at his Los Angeles home, sending shockwaves through the globe. His death marked the end of an era, but his profound legacy would live on. Michael's passing was a devastating blow to millions who had grown up with his music. His death felt like the loss of a cultural icon, one who had transcended the world of music to become a beacon of hope for those who felt different or out of place. Fans worldwide gathered to mourn, paying tribute to a man whose songs had provided solace, empowerment, and joy. He had been more than just a performer. Michael Jackson was a symbol of global unity. The circumstances surrounding his death added to the grief. His personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2011 after administering the fatal dose of propofol in an attempt to help Michael sleep. The controversy and legal battles that followed only deepened the public's sadness as they confronted the possibility that his death might have been preventable. The media frenzy surrounding Michael's final days kept the spotlight on his health, lifestyle, and struggles, compounding the sense of chaos surrounding his passing. Despite these tragic events, Michael's impact on music, culture, and the world was undeniable. His work, including the groundbreaking Thriller album, continues to inspire new generations of artists. He had created a legacy far beyond his chart-topping hits, with his humanitarian efforts through the Heal the World Foundation and his advocacy for peace. Michael's influence on music, dance, and fashion is still felt today, with young artists like Justin Timberlake, Usher, and Beyoncé citing him as a major influence. His signature dance moves, especially the moonwalk, remain iconic, with dancers worldwide emulating his style. Michael's death also highlighted the toll that fame took on him. Despite being one of the most beloved figures in the world, he lived much of his life under intense media scrutiny, battling personal demons and health struggles in the public eye. His tragic death served as a reminder of the human cost of fame and raised questions about the responsibilities of those surrounding celebrities to protect their well-being. In the years following his passing, Michael's children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, have continued to honor his memory. Paris, in particular, has used her platform to promote social change, continuing her father's legacy of advocacy. Though his life was cut short, Michael Jackson's influence endures, and his name remains synonymous with greatness, as his music continues to inspire and his message of peace and unity resonates across the globe. The Abandoned House. In the wake of Michael Jackson's death, one of the most poignant symbols of his life was the silence that overtook Neverland Ranch. Once a vibrant, fantastical place of joy and creativity, the sprawling estate in Santa Barbara, California, slowly transformed into a haunting reminder of a life that was both extraordinary and tragically short-lived. Neverland, with its amusement park rides, zoo, and the grandiose mansion, had been a place where Michael Jackson sought to create a paradise for himself and the children he cherished. It was a world of imagination, a sanctuary from the pressures of fame and the painful memories of his own childhood. For years, it stood as a reflection of Michael's desire to create a safe haven for innocence and joy. It was here that he shared laughter and love with his children, hosted friends, and expressed his vision of a perfect world. Yet, it was also here that his isolation deepened, where the weight of fame seemed to suffocate him. After Michael's death, Neverland was left abandoned, an eerie shell of its former self. The once colorful rides, now rusted and still, stood as a stark contrast to the liveliness they once embodied. The mansion, filled with memorabilia of Michael's life and career, became a deserted symbol of his personal dreams and unfulfilled promises. The estate's 2,700 acres, once brimming with activity, became a silent, empty space. The media, long fascinated by Michael's every move, now fixated on the desolation that had replaced the magic of Neverland. The house, once filled with laughter and music, seemed to reflect the emptiness that Michael had often felt in his later years. The contrast between its joyful past and somber present was impossible to ignore. It stood as a metaphor for the man himself, one who had built a world of fantasy to escape his painful reality, only for it to be lost once the magic was gone. In the years following his death, Neverland's future remained uncertain. The estate was sold in 2008 and changed hands multiple times. Yet, the ghost of Michael Jackson's dream still lingered within the crumbling walls. The abandoned house, like the man it once housed, was a place of paradoxes, a symbol of both his triumphs and his struggles, a place where dreams were made, but ultimately left behind. Michael Jackson's life was a whirlwind of brilliance and turbulence, a story defined by extraordinary heights and profound lows. His music will forever be celebrated, his legacy etched in the annals of history. But beneath the surface of his chart-topping success lay a man who sought something greater than fame, a longing for peace, connection, and a sense of belonging that remained elusive despite his global stardom. As we reflect on Michael's life, we are reminded of the complexity of being both an icon and a human being. He was a man whose music united people across borders, whose dance moves transcended cultures, and whose humanitarian efforts reached those in need. Yet, the price of his fame was steep, and the pressure to live up to the world's expectations weighed heavily on him. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, was both a symbol of perfection and a deeply flawed individual, navigating a life filled with contradictions. His children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, remain a testament to his love and the part of him that longed for normalcy. They carry his legacy forward, reminding us that, despite the complexities of his life, Michael Jackson was first and foremost a father who cherished his children deeply. Neverland Ranch, once a vibrant sanctuary, now stands abandoned, much like Michael's own dreams of peace and privacy. It remains a haunting reminder of a man who gave the world so much, but couldn't escape the isolation fame brought. Yet, his influence continues to resonate through his music, his message, and the artists he inspired. Michael Jackson may no longer be with us, but his spirit endures in every note, every moonwalk, and every act of kindness he inspired. His story is a reminder of the power of art, the complexity of fame, and the enduring impact of a man who, despite everything, left the world a little more colorful, a little more hopeful, and a lot more unforgettable.